All right, good evening everyone. I am Misty and this is Dinner on a Dime. And tonight's dinner is going to revolve around a package of this Earl Campbell's smoked sausage. Okay, just plain smoked sausage. This is actually a recipe that my mom used to make when I was a kid and that I always enjoyed. And so we're going to make it tonight for our kids. So I will tell you this, this sausage I buy when it goes on sale. This particular one I got at Brookshire's. When it goes on sale for about $1.99, $2.49, $2.29, somewhere in that range, I will stock up on it and I will buy the limit, whatever the limit might be, whether it is, sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5. You really have to pay attention to their sales so that you make sure that you're buying within the limit. But this particular one, I think I got 5 of them. So this one I just pulled out of the freezer yesterday. So not a lot of money tied up in meat for this particular meal. As you know, on this channel, I'm trying to make dinners for around $10 for a family of 4. So that's what we're gonna do tonight. Now, while I'm slicing this up, that's all I'm gonna do to start, is just this we're going to slice into what they call coin slices. If you've never done that before, this is what coin slicing looks like. It's just, you know, the thickness of a coin. You can make it as thin or as thick as your family likes it. I like mine more on the thin side. I don't know that my family particularly cares one way or the other, but that's how I like mine. So that's how I'm gonna do it. So I've been off YouTube now for about a week, week and a half. As you know, I had major dental surgery. I actually had a part of the top and bottom of the left side of my jaw surgically removed in office, not asleep, anything. It was quite the ordeal. Then after that, I ended up getting sick. I had like a massive cough. I could not quit coughing. I am still coughing, just not as frequently, but it still has not gone away. I actually have a follow-up with my doctor next week on Monday to see how we proceed with treatment of that. They are deeming it allergy related. I do live in the great state of Texas, and when it hits me hard. And I think that's because we have a lot of corn crops around us, and whatever they spray on those fields is never very kind to me. This is kind of a yearly thing that I deal with at this particular time of year, and it just hasn't eased up like it typically does. And so, you know, we'll see what the doctor has to say about it next week when I go in for my follow-up visit. Now, since all that's been going on, there's been a couple of other new developments. My daughter did enlist in the Navy, and so we've had some nights recently where it's been kind of back and forth to get her to recruiter appointments, to her MEP stuff, celebrating her enlistment, all of that kind of stuff's been going on. And then my husband ended up coming down with, they've called it all different sorts of things, abscess, cyst, whatever you want to call it, on his stomach. It would not respond at first to antibiotic treatment, and it was getting bigger and bigger, and so we ended up in the emergency room, and it required emergency surgery in the emergency room. No deadening, no anything, and so I had to take care of him for a few days while he recovered from that. And so yeah, it's been a lot. What can I say? When it rains, it pours in my life. Some good things, some not so good things. So yeah, it's just been busy. So there you go. There's a life update for you. I'm still alive. I do have a grocery video coming out for you guys that will show you everything I bought in the month of August. I am going to try to do that each month for you and tell you how much I spent on groceries and all that good stuff. I did stick to the cash envelope system last month, so we're going to talk about what I thought of that, what the results were, everything like that. So there you go. There is our sausage all cut up. All right. The next thing we're going to do is, I have never made these before. So in one of my videos, I talked about what are things that you have on your shelf that you have a lot of that maybe you've just been scared to use, you don't know how to use them, you've never made them before, yada, 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 you bought it on sale, you stocked up on it, and now it's just been sitting there, right? Okay, here's mine. So I've told you there's no trickery, there's no tomfoolery on this channel. I'm showing you as real as it gets. I have bought a bunch of these when they were on sale at Kroger over the last year. I have never cooked any of them. See, here we go. This is what happens, and then I have to get a drink. So I got my drink over on the side. Okay, so this is what happens. I have them, I need to use them. So tonight we're going to use up one box of these. We're gonna give them a try. See what our family thinks of them, okay? So, with that being said, the first ingredient I need is 2 cups of boiling water. So all I've done is measure out 2 cups of water. I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the microwave so that we can get some hot water going to put in these potatoes. All right. While that's going, I already have my oven set to 450 degrees. And then all it calls for besides that is 2/3 a cup of milk and 1 tablespoon of butter. So I've got my milk here. I'm really surprised this one is, oh, I'm not surprised this one is out of date. Sorry, I bought another milk. So remember I told you I've switched to the expensive milk. We've been doing really good about finishing it up. This one expired September 3rd. It's September 1st. So we're good there. Smells fine. Actually, it's September 2nd. But anyways, I do have another one out in the garage fridge that I bought as part of last month's groceries, but we haven't needed to bring it in yet. So we'll try to get this one finished in the next couple of days. So 2/3 a cup of milk. We'll go ahead and get that ready. And then I already have my butter out right here. So we're gonna need a tablespoon of butter. I did go ahead and spray my pan just to try to prevent everything from potentially sticking in the pan. So there we go. All right, that's ready to go. I'm just gonna stick the milk back in the fridge. So I will say this, for the month of August, grocery deals were still okay. They weren't great, but they were okay, right? September, I really expected better for the Labor Day sales. They were not good in my area. I don't know how they were in your area, but they were not good in mine. And besides that, the previews for the ad that starts tomorrow are terrible. I'm like, where are the good deals at? So I don't know about you guys, but that's kind of what I'm seeing in my area, is it's starting to get even worse than it was. And I've talked about this, and this is why I prep and buy the deals when I do, is because it just seems to keep getting worse and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So you're probably going to see me utilizing a lot more pantry ingredients and freezer ingredients than you are bringing in new stuff for right now. The reasons for that are kind of twofold. One is the deals just aren't amazing right now, and I already have it, so I might as well just use it. And number two, I might as well save the money, and I can use it in another month when there are better deals, or I can put it towards our vacation that we're going on in December. So I'm gonna look at it as a win-win, even though I wish I was spending my grocery money on groceries. I'm not going to spend a ridiculous amount of money. All right, so the other thing I'm gonna make, just 1 can of Bush's baked beans. This is the smaller can. Got these for 99 cents. Again, at Brookshire's. Again, one of those deals where sometimes you can buy 3, sometimes you can buy 5. You really have to pay attention to the limits in the ad at Brookshire's because they're never the same. And so you might think that it's always buy 5, kind of like your Kroger. It is not. And so you do have to really pay attention. And for some reason, the Bush's baked beans always varies. It always varies. 2, 5, 3, 5, 4. There's no telling. So just pay attention if you shop at Brookshire's. But 99 cents, like $2.29, $2.49 there. Scalloped potatoes, 99 cents. A few ingredients that we're not using a whole lot of. So you can see this is a meal that's going to come together. It's going to feed a family of 4, and it's going to do it well under our $10 mark. In fact, I pulled out also a package of cookies that I got for 50% off that I'm going to throw in the oven later. They're the Pokemon sugar cookies. I got those for $1 on clearance at Target a while back. I bought maybe like 12 packs of them and just stuck them in the freezer. And so I'm just pulling them out one at a time. You can freeze cookie dough. It works just fine. So we may have cookies tonight. We may wait and have them tomorrow night. I don't know. We'll see how the night goes. We've got about 45 seconds here until our water comes out. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the beans with paper towel just so that they don't spew all over the microwave when I get ready to put those in. I don't do anything to Bush's baked beans. I just open the can and I throw them in, and that's it. So if you guys have ever made scalloped potatoes before, you may not want to watch this part of the video, and that's perfectly fine. I've had that comment before about why do you make boxed items on your channel? I don't need to see you make boxed items. Guys, not everyone's made it, and people might buy it and be kind of nervous about it like I am. So we're gonna see how they turn out, and we're gonna see what my family thinks of them. So that's why I'm doing it, because I haven't done it before. So might as well do it and try it. All right, so this is definitely piping hot water. Gonna get that set down there. All right, so it says heat your oven, already done that. Stir the sauce mix, boiling water, milk, and butter with a whisk into your casserole dish and stir in your potatoes, okay? I am not going to do it in here because I already sprayed that. So I'm just gonna do it in this bowl, and then I will transfer it over to that pan. And apparently this package is not very easy to open, so we're gonna get some scissors out. I tried to do really good this time about having everything I needed already prepped and ready to go, but I didn't. Such is life. All right, there is our mix. Oops. And the package straight into the water, because why not? Story of my life. I always tell my mom, if I'm not making a mess in the kitchen, I'm probably not cooking in the kitchen. I actually saw a funny video the other day. It was a TikTok lady. I don't know her name, sorry. I don't do that much of the short videos, but she was so proud of herself because she baked the cake. And it said, but what does your kitchen look like? And she was like, not bad. And then it pans to the kitchen and there's like dirty dishes everywhere. Story of my life. If I were to turn you around right now and show you my sink, there's a sink full of dishes. I've not been able to keep up with that very well recently. So I need to get back on that. All right, so I've added my 2/3 cup of milk, my 1 tablespoon of butter, my 2 cups of water, and the packet of mix. I am going to stir it up with the whisk per the instructions. I think I could have just used a spatula, but it called for a whisk, so I'm gonna whisk it. Now, you may notice something different about my kitchen. Look at my beautiful pantry door. It is butter-filled yellow. That is one of the projects I've had going since I recorded a video. I decided I am tired of looking at that white pantry door. The whole kitchen's gonna get painted eventually, not that color, but the door is going to remain yellow, and I love it. I'm super happy with it. And so, yeah, that's one of the things I did over the Labor Day weekend. In fact, I spent my Labor Day painting that door, and I love the way it turned out. I also ordered spice racks that are magnetized that go on the side of my fridge. They have these glass bottles that I labeled, and they've got these wood knobs on them, so they kind of match my kitchen, and I love these. So I'm super excited about those too. So yeah, they're just right there off camera, but I like them way better than where I did have them over by my coffee pot. It just really, it never worked well having them over there, but that's just where they were. So now they're in a better spot. So I'm just stirring these around, making sure all of these potatoes get wet. And then I'm going to pour them into my pan. Just trying to get that out of the way. Get that out of the way, we're gonna need it again. All right, so like I said, I'm just gonna pour everything into the pan here. And it comes out of this bowl super easy. It's not thick or anything, so it's not like I gotta scrape the bowl or anything like that. So I'm just gonna make sure the potatoes are kind of like all submerged in the liquid. So it doesn't say anything about covering. It actually does. It says bake uncovered for 25 minutes. So well, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put it in for 25 minutes into the oven. It's gonna go. Okay, so 25 minutes in the oven. All right, I'm just gonna throw these away and put my dishes over in the sink with all of my other dishes. Like I said, I got a million dishes that need to be done. So that's probably gonna be the next thing I do tonight after I'm done recording with you guys, is I'm gonna put my dishes in the dishwasher. So, all right. Now, beans, again, like I said, super easy. I'm not doing anything special with these. When these potatoes have about 5 minutes left, I will zap these for 5 minutes in the microwave, pull them out, give them a stir, and they will be done. So that one is super easy as well. So I'm gonna get you guys moved around and we're gonna cook up this sausage. So I'm actually going to pause you guys right here for probably about, let's see, 10 minutes. That'll make our potatoes to the 14-minute mark. We'll come back, we'll cook up this sausage. I'll show you what we're gonna do there, and we'll get the beans going, and then I can show you what this meal looks like on the flip side. So I'll be back and we'll look at it then. All right, y'all, I'm back. So I actually have 15 minutes left on the potatoes, and I'm actually gonna turn the light on and look at them. They're baking, I guess they're doing their thing. So we're gonna get started on the sausage. What did I do in that short amount of time I was gone? Started a load of dishes, pulled the ingredients I needed for the sausage, went and pulled out meat from the freezer for tomorrow night's dinner, and filled up my coffee maker with water, and somehow managed to pour water all over the kitchen cabinet, because like it's the first time I've ever done it, right? And got some cough drops. So I do have a cough drop in my mouth because, like I said, I'm just kind of, I cough when I cough. I don't have any control over it at all. And so if you hear the dishwasher going, I apologize, but like I said, I had the free moment to get it loaded, so took advantage of that as my daughter was giving me a heads up that she was leaving the house to go get my son at karate. So she is home for now. She will be home until April because she is only 17. So she started this process on her 17th birthday. She is fully enlisted, so she has got 2 more tests to take to determine what job she's going to go into. So she's got an MOS right now, but that could change. But she can't take those other 2 tests until April. So we don't know exactly what that's gonna look like yet. She did great on her ASVAB and her PICAT stuff, like through the roof on that. So that's great, opened up a lot of opportunities for her. She did have to go through the waiver process on some past medical history. So if you are out there and you're thinking about military, don't let that scare you. In fact, we knew when she went to MEPS, she would probably need the waivers, and they did them while she was at MEPS. Now, I'm not guaranteeing you that that will happen, right? That could be very unusual, but in her case, they were able to do them same day. She did have to get some like collaborative documentation from me and her doctor to like kind of go through that process, but we were able to pull everything together for her. So we are very, very excited. We're very proud of her. So I don't know exactly yet what her MOS will be, but any of the 3 that she ends up with will be great. It's either going to be nuclear engineer, it's going to be cyber warfare specialist, or it's going to end up being a advanced computer systems and electrical something. So that's where she's going to end up. To be determined, right? Okay, so I am going, all I did was spray this pan with a little bit of nonstick spray. The sausage is going straight into the pan. You hear it starting to hiss in the pan. That's what I say, hiss. If you've ever watched Frugal Fit Mom, she compares it to like a cheer of a crowd. Like, yay, you're cooking me. And I think that's so cute. I love that. So that's what I kind of think of when I do this. I think of her saying that. All right, so you could just cook it this way. If that is what you have to feed your family, guess what? It is going to be delicious. If you have some seasonings to add, that's just going to bring out the flavor of the sausage even more. I have cooked it and served it exactly like this, okay? And I promise you, my family ate every stinking bite of it. They did not care. I started it out on high. I'm gonna turn it down to about a 6 because I want it to cook for a little while and brown up nicely, okay? I don't want it to get so hot in the pan that it burns on one side or the other. Okay, so what are we gonna add in? We are going to add in some garlic powder. So we're just gonna give it a little sprinkle of garlic powder. We are going to give it a little sprinkle of onion powder. Okay, this is just gonna help bring out the flavors that are in the sausage already, okay? Smoky flavors, it's going to be delicious, all right? Now, I'm going to add one more thing into this, okay? You can add, to make that smokiness pop, some smoked paprika. I don't want to add a ton of this, it is hot. The one that I have is hot, so I'm just going to add just a baby sprinkle of that. I did it much lighter than I did the others. I think I did the onion powder a little heavier than I did the garlic powder, so I'm just going to give it one more shake here. Okay, and then I'm going to stir it up and keep browning up my sausage. I do not like this pan. You can see it's getting awfully like dark on the bottom of the pan. You may not can see that, awfully dark on the bottom of that pan. It actually isn't bad if I was going to turn this into a sauce afterwards. All of that flavor on the bottom becomes really good in a sauce, but I'm not doing that today. All we're going to do with the sausage is just brown it up. That is it, okay? Now, what else could you do with this smoked sausage? I use it all of the time in jambalaya, where I just cut it up and throw it into a box mix for jambalaya. We use it for homemade sausage Alfredo. We use it for mac and cheese. You can do it like this and then put it into mac and cheese. You can do it like this and add ravioli and make a sausage ravioli with it. You can cook it on the grill with some barbecue sauce and just cut it up and serve it that way. There are lots of things you can do with one thing of smoked sausage that can easily feed a family of 4, okay? So all I'm doing are adding my spices back onto the spice rack. Unfortunately, now it's behind you because it's on the fridge, but that's okay. All right, so like I said, I'm just gonna keep stirring this. I do not want it to burn. I just want it to brown, okay? Just trying to get it browned and bring out that flavor. That's it. So I am going to grab a plate. I could do this on a regular plate if you have one. I'm just grabbing a paper plate. And I'm going to grab some paper towels to put on it. And the reason for this is just to drain the grease off of it once it is ready to do that. All right. So how are we looking on everything? Potatoes have 7 minutes and 38 seconds. I keep knocking this out of the pan. I'm just going to keep cooking this sausage for that amount of time, or close to it. However long I need to cook it to get it as brown as I would like it to be. I like it to have a little crisp to it. I don't like it to be super, for lack of a better word, floppy. I don't like it to be super floppy, so I want mine to have that crispiness to it, crispiness on the edges and so forth, okay? So, Just gonna let that keep doing its thing. We're at 7 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and start the beans for the 5 minutes because it's not gonna hurt for those to cool off for a couple minutes until we get ready to take out our potatoes. I'm gonna go ahead and grab another spoon. This one will be for the potatoes when they come out, and we'll see what those look like. So, hope this shows you, like, if you're on an extremely tight budget, you can still make a really good meal with not a lot of money. And you can do this in 2025, okay? I'm showing you like real world scenarios. This is cooking in 2025 with ingredients bought in 2025, okay? I still see videos, I swear it feels like every day online about how in 2025 it is cheaper to dine out than it is to eat at home. That is not true. We went out for lunch Sunday, me, my husband, and my son. Our daughter was with my mom and dad, so it was just 3 of us. With tip and everything, it was right at $60 for the 3 of us to go to Chili's. Okay, we did have an appetizer, and he had a kid's meal, our son did, and then my husband had a burger, and I had Southwestern egg rolls. We all had sodas, okay? So we didn't have desserts, we didn't have any like super expensive meals, and it was still that much. And here I am, I'm cooking dinner for less than $10 for a family of 4. Everybody's gonna be just as happy with this meal as they were at Chili's. And I can promise you that because if you've eaten out recently, the quality has gone so far downhill compared to the prices going up. That's our experience anyway. We've eaten out a couple of times this week because we went out with my parents, just the 2 of us and my parents. Just had nachos at El Phoenix the other day, okay? We ordered Dr. Peppers and they were like, oh, sorry, we don't have any Dr. Pepper. Okay, fair. So we ordered Coke. Well, then I ordered corn tortillas and butter because I like to put butter on them and then put them in the salsa. And they brought out the corn tortillas and they were like, we don't have any butter. You're a restaurant. Like, how do you not have any butter? Okay, so that was that. The nachos were subpar. And so it was just kind of like, okay. Well, then at Chili's the other day, they brought out our queso, but they didn't bring out any chips or anything to go with it. So we're sitting there and we're waiting a while. And our waitress comes over. We still hadn't got drinks or anything. Waitress comes over and says, are you ready to order? And I was like, well, can we get some chips to go with the queso first? Because it had sat there for so long. And my husband was just like, okay, it's just like, it doesn't matter where we go. We did takeout from Taco Bueno the other day. They've changed their queso, so it wasn't very good. And so I'm just like, it's just not worth it. Everything I cook at home is so much better than anything I can get out anymore. And so, you know, if anything, it just renewed my faith in myself that, hey, we need to just be eating at home. We're saving money that way. We're utilizing the things that we have, being a good steward of our resources. And it's always a better experience than if we go out. So that's what we're going to do moving forward. It's just refocusing my energy and my family's energy into let's just eat at home. It's just better that way. We like it when mom cooks. We like eating at home. So there you go. That's just our experience. And maybe it's different where you're at. But you can let me know in the comments, like if you've eaten out recently, how was your experience? You know, did you have a good experience? Did you have a bad experience? So my sausage is done as I want it to be. Because again, I don't want it to burn. Oh my goodness, it is all running away from me today. I'm gonna end up having to clean my stovetop when I'm done here. Because I can't seem to keep it together today. Alright, I'll pick these up. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. Hot pan. See, this is what I don't like. In my nonstick pan, it wouldn't be like that. I like these pans. My mom bought me a whole set of these one year for Christmas, but I don't like that. That is not my friend. So it takes a lot longer to clean that off of a pan. All right, so I'm just putting it on a hot pad over here. Putting my cutting board in the sink. All right, I'm gonna show you what my sausage looks like. That's my sausage. It's just browned. It is very hard to tell looking at it, but it's definitely very brown around the edges and stuff. And so that's how we like it right there. All right, yes, yes, yes. I know, it's time to take the beans out. All right, taking the beans out. Like I told you, I'm just going to give them a quick stir, and then those are done as well. I'll show it to you here in just a second. I'm gonna flip you back around. Our potatoes, oops, I have 2 minutes left. I just turned off the timer for the potatoes by accident. Okay, I'm bringing you back around. There's my pretty yellow door. See with my pantry sign on it. Very happy with my door. All right, so there you can see, there's our sausage. Again, here's our beans ready to eat. Here's my yucky pan that I'm gonna have to scrub a dub to get all that funk off of there here in a little while. All right, give these potatoes about 1 more minute, and then we're gonna pull those out and see what they look like. So, another thought for you guys. Leave me in the comments, let me know, how many of you have like a fully stocked pantry and freezer to work from? In 2025, do you have those resources already in your home, or are you starting from scratch? Okay, the reason I want to know is because I am planning, especially the rest of the year, to really try to utilize a lot of things that I have on hand, because I don't want them to go bad, and because we are currently a family of 4. We are working our way very quickly down to a family of 3, and so we're not going to need as much. At the same time, I know my son's becoming a teenager. We may end up needing more, right? But I'm just curious, where are you starting from? Because I can kind of tailor some videos that way. Do you want to see a lot of videos that are utilizing things like a pantry clean out challenge, a freezer clean out challenge? Do you want to see more stuff like that? Or do you want to see more of the videos that are like tips and tricks on how to get started with stockpiling, how to get started with couponing, how to do all of those things? Or are we wanting to see a mix of the two? Okay, I'm just curious. So just a thought for you guys. All right, it's definitely been 2 minutes. I am going to put out 1 more hot pad here, and I'm going to take out our potatoes and see how they look. So here are our potatoes. It does say that the sauce will thicken after it's done cooking. So it is pretty runny, I will say that. I would say it's super runny. So I'm just gonna give it a stir, and then I'm gonna let it sit here for a little while, and then we'll see what they look like. If they look like they have set up some, or how they are looking. Again, like I said, I've never made these, so I'm going along with you. We're gonna do this together. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm gonna set a timer, let's say 10 minutes, okay? Because I don't want everything else to get super cold, but let's give it 10 minutes. Let's come back and let's see if those potatoes have set up or if they're still really runny. All right, so these are the potatoes after they have set for about 10 minutes. As you can see, it has thickened up quite a bit. So that is good to see because they were super runny to begin with. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of these scooped out and on a plate. Just adding them over here. And then you can see what our plates will look like for this evening. So there you go. We got the smoked sausage, we got baked beans, and we got scalloped potatoes. All right, so I came outside on the patio to record like an outro for this video. My husband's inside watching TV, taking a break from his car remodel, whatever you want to call it, project. So Dinner was okay. I am not a fan of the boxed potatoes. My husband was also not a fan of the boxed potatoes. I do not predict that either one of our kids is going to be super excited about those. I don't really know the correct word to describe them. So you know they are like obviously dehydrated potatoes that are going into this liquid and cooking, but they just don't taste the same as fresh potatoes. They don't have the same texture as fresh potatoes. I don't know. They were not our favorite. So I think the other boxes I have of those are probably something that I'm going to go ahead and donate. And we have what's called a little pantry in town. That is where you can donate things that you won't eat, or you can take things that you need. It helps feed the hungry in our community. And so probably what I will do is just put those in a bag, and the next time I'm by there, which I'm very close to there, like 4 out of 5 nights of the week, I will stop by and I will leave those for someone else to enjoy, because I just don't see that that is something that we would eat again. So there's no point in me keeping, I think I've got like maybe 5 boxes of them in my pantry. There's no point in me doing that. So that's what I'm going to do, and I would encourage you to do the same. If you find yourself with an overstock of something that you're not going to use, whether it turns out as something your family doesn't like, something you've quit eating as much of, or things that are getting close to the date and you know you're not going to use them, donate them. Give them to someone who could really use that food and would definitely appreciate that food. And so that is my plan in this particular case. It is not, you know, I wouldn't just throw it away. I would just donate it, and that way someone can definitely enjoy that for themselves and their family. So that's it for tonight. I will see you in the next dinner video. Bye.